Thank you for watching Truth Talk News. I'm your host, Howard Nima. Many of you are aware of the rising police state, but you might not be aware that there are more than 1 million laws typed in fine print on long legal pages that would take 27,000 years to read. Yet we are all responsible to abide by these laws. And that 70% of the people in prison are in prison because of victimless crimes, which means they violated one of these statutes or laws that can be enforced, apparently, depending upon political persuasion, however they wish. Well, you can enforce immigration laws or you cannot. You can enforce laws against drugs or you cannot. And what we've had over the last 40 years is an incredible increase in the prison population, where over 2.2 million people are in prison. 30% of those people in prison happen to be illegal aliens that shouldn't have been here in the first place, but they feed the system. Just, that's part of it. And it is a racket. And then, God forbid, if you have a couple of too many drinks, or whatever, they keep reducing the amount. They want to bring it down to 0.05 now because they want to keep more people in prison. It destroys the economy because people lose their jobs. They can't get to work because they get locked up and they can't function in society. Now, a friend of mine has been unfortunately targeted by this. The drummer in my band, I've went on record with this, was targeted. They gave him the breathalyzer tube. His car wouldn't start without the tube. He had to pay $800. Then it kept failing, and every time it failed, it would be an $85 fine, and it was all this problems. It was like $13,000 in bogus violations. He had a fight. He had to get a lawyer and all this. He's still suing the state of Connecticut and the Department of Motor Vehicles. And this is what we have. This is what we have. We have a government and a system that targets people to benefit a very small amount of people. And today, I drove a friend of mine, we're going to call him Mr. X, home, after having to endure a mandated drunk class after having an accident. Why don't you tell us what happened, Mr. X? Tell us the whole story and your perspective on how you've been exploited by this criminal justice system. And that's what it is, a criminal justice system.
Yeah, well, I had an accident a while ago.
Motorcycle accident.
Motorcycle accident. And yeah, I had a few drinks, and yes, that was my choice. But the accident did not hurt any property, didn't damage any property, did not hurt any other people. It only hurt myself. At the time, I was hurt bad enough to be, taken into a hospital, but against my will, at least 4 or 5 months later, the state had gone after my alcohol level in my blood.
Sure, so they took your blood alcohol level while you were admitted. They forced you into admission. You really didn't necessarily have to be hospitalized?
Well, I did have to be hospitalized, but I could not give permission or no permission. So they legally pretty much went against my will, right, and did this. But at the same time, with all that said and done, it's come down to a lot of hoops to jump through. It's the legal system is made to make hundreds of thousands of people through the United States spend money on lawyers' fees, spend money on paying fines, spend money on losing jobs.
It's typically $13,000 on average without losing a job.
Yes, and in some cases, if you lose a job, you've lost a $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 job. So
it destroys the economy. In other words, if you did have a problem and now you recognize that you have maybe a problem with alcohol and you're seeking treatment, instead of doing that, they just penalize you and force you to go to treatment and fine you and take away your property if you don't have the money to pay the fines.
And
right?
Incarcerate you. So therefore,
so you get all of this, but you got to go to jail too.
You got to go to jail too. And then on top of that,
this is America.
It just continues.
The number one jailer in the world, by the way.
Exactly.
More people are in America in jail. 70% of them
haven't
hurt anybody, didn't accept their own problems, their own things, didn't commit any anything other than a violation of code. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But that's okay. But yet, like you said in your opening statement, it depends on who you are and where you are. I mean, you could be a particular person, and you can walk away if you're connected with a politician, maybe, or whoever, or whatever. And maybe you're a movie star, but if you're
or you're a Freemason,
or you're a Freemason. But if you're an average American citizen, a middle class, odds are you're gonna pay a lot of money. You're gonna do some time, and not only that, now they've made this law into a felony. Now they have the right.
You have a felony conviction in the state of Connecticut because these gun grabbers are communists, and now since he's a felon, he can no longer own a firearm legally.
Not that I ever did, but that's one way that's one way that they're controlling the American population and taking your Second Amendment away just by having a DUI. DUIs are very prevalent across the United States, and that's why they did that.
Well, they keep reducing the level. It started out at 0.12 and then 0.10 and then 0.08. Now they're talking about 0.06.
Exactly.
So all you need is 1 or 2 drinks, and you're illegally drunk, so you shouldn't be driving.
Exactly. So with that being said, yes, it is not a great thing to be driving. Let's not say that
absolutely.
It is good.
No.
Okay. Well,
but less and less people, more and more people are being affected because they keep reducing the amount of. Now, for example, if I was 0.10,
yep,
I'm not drunk. I'm 200 plus pounds. I'm not drunk at all, but I'm legally drunk.
Exactly.
So if my wife or a woman that's smaller,
and that would be
120
because you
pounds,
drive commercially.
Well, no, I'm just saying. It has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Not talking about anything. I'm just talking about, it's not the law. It's just that if I'm 240 pounds or 200 pounds, and a woman's 100 pounds, her 0.10, she's going to be ripped.
Yes.
My 0.10, I'm not.
The reason why I'm making the point of commercial versus residential is because they have 2 different laws, and I'm going to state the fact. The fact is, it's 0.02 if you have a commercial driver license.
Well, and if you drive for a living, then you're really fucked.
You should not even drink.
If you can't drink.
Exactly, and they're making the laws so stringent that people should be advocating to get rid of alcohol. Period. and now let's touch base on that. If you were to fight this government and the United States in getting rid of alcohol, you would never come close to it because
they did it. It doesn't work. It causes crime.
Prohibition. Exactly.
The whole idea. Look, it's treatment. It's just like drugs. You can't criminalize drugs. The reason that there are so many people in prison is because of the drug laws. The Rockefeller drug laws of the 70s, and then Bush put the nail in the coffin. But now also on our rights with the 1988 Drug Abuse Act.
But now they're criminalizing alcohol, which is legal.
Yes, of course. No, they found a way to criminalize it. They found a way to exploit us again.
It's a catch-22.
Now it's different. Like right now, if I was drunk and just driving and I got us to our destination safely, technically, yes, I was drunk, but there was no crime committed. My point is that there was no crime committed. Whereas if the same thing occurred, and I would have an accident or injure somebody or crash into somebody's fence,
that would be a crime.
That's a crime, a property damage.
But
correct.
If you were pulled over with no crime or nothing,
that is just entrapment.
Exactly.
And if there is probable cause, now again, let's talk about the law. If there's probable cause, I'm swerving all across Route 8 here. Yes, you have probable cause to pull me over, but not just because it's 2 o'clock in the morning or you're in the wrong neighborhood or you're whatever. If you're there is definitely, there's no question about it that I'm not going to discount the fact that there is profiling and it exists, and they can deny it all they want, and it does exist. There's many things that exist that are denied, and one of the things is the fact that the criminal justice system is absolutely, positively criminal.
I would definitely agree with that.
So tell me about your full experience here with the system. So you had the accident, you recovered, and you're happy that you recovered. And a couple of months later, what happened? You got a letter in the mail? Is that how it happened, or did they call you?
I was contacted and I had a warrant for my arrest for a DUI.
Oh, how nice! They just said, "Hey, listen, we have a warrant for your arrest." How many months? 2 months? 3 months later?
It was approximately 4 months later.
4 months later. Wow! So they had this it's unbelievable the audacity to have a non-event, except for the fact that you destroyed your own vehicle and you had your own property damage
and health-wise
and your own possible health. But look, I'm not wearing a seatbelt. Again, I'm violating one of the 1.1 million codes. And, I'm not keeping myself safe, so they have to keep me safe, just like they have to keep you safe there. But in Connecticut, to show you how insane it is, you don't even need to wear a helmet to ride a motorcycle.
Exactly.
So what the hell is going on here?
It's a catch-22, and once again...
It's worse than that. It's a hypocritical, crony-based system designed to keep, basically, to keep a certain class of people